Roach King, what's up, man? How are
Yo,
you?
good man. How you doing?
Dude, I love the polo, man. First things first. Shout out to the folks at Rebel Rabbit. I'm
Sure.
doing well, man. Just getting it going here on this Monday. How was your weekend, my friend?
Good. Other than all my bets lost, literally every single.
Oh,
Not
tough,
a,
tough,
not a good
tough. So,
weekend.
so did you have a good first weekend and where are you at in regards to the books? Where are you at overall?
I think I'm still up like 270,
Okay.
but
Okay.
yeah, this is a rough weekend for me.
College and NFL or just college?
Yeah,
Yeah.
both. Ugly. Ugly.
Did the Bucks cover or no?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
Well,
don't know.
they won. They
I
won.
put,
So.
I put them in a. I do teasers and big parlays, and once one of them lost, I said to hell with it. I'm not watching the rest of it. It sucks, man. It sucks.
I hear you. I hear you for sure. Well, anyways, man, I appreciate you taking the time. Always a pleasure to have you in on these Mondays. And of course, we've got a ton to talk about. What happened over the weekend? Hard fought, tough game. Gamecocks lose 44-30 to Arkansas. Not a game that I don't know that the final result, when you look at, spreads, predictions, whatever, preseason predictions, wasn't necessarily surprising. But of course, the way it happened always leaves us with something to discuss. Let's first, of course, start your specialty offensively. Gamecocks score 30 points. Spencer Rattler racks up 376 yards passing, but of course, in a losing effort. I first want to start with this because, we spent all week, just talking about the offensive line, and we were very critical of the offensive line. Thought they played better in regards to pass blocking. I really thought the pass blocking was much better, and I'm sure, again, you can give better insight. What I did notice, and I thought about you, Steven, was that the announcers even made the point on the interception that Spencer Rattler had that he saw pressure, didn't trust the protection, moved around in the pocket, delivered the ball late, and of course it was picked off. But all in all, though, you throw for 376 yards. It's hard for me to come, I've seen some people coming down on Spencer Rattler, and it's just like, I think he had a decent day. Just talk about what you saw from Rattler. Again, the offensive line. Again, I thought pass pro was much better overall from the passing game than Spencer Rattler himself.
Yeah, no, I thought he played well. I was glad to see that he took a couple deep shots. Kind of overthrew Amarian, who's he's actually from Tampa. I've thrown with him. I threw with him this past offseason. He came down here, and the kid can fly. So for him to overthrow him was kind of tough to watch. But I think a few of those would have hit. It changed the outcome of that game. Between that, we just can't stop the damn run. That was tough, man. I remember seeing number 5 running wild like that. 12 years ago. So
yeah, actually, that brought back some tough memories watching him run. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it was longer than 12 years ago. Obviously, I think it was like 14 years. But yeah, man, it was tough to watch that. But yeah, I think the offensive line definitely played better. I thought Spencer played well. But yeah, like you mentioned, he's still kind of seeing the rush a little too much for my liking. But I think he's going to get better with time.
Yeah, you mentioned those deep balls, man. Like you said, it was so close. A couple of those were like fingertips, like just off. And I guess that would just be something that just comes with more reps and getting more comfortable and getting more chemistry with your guys. Or, again, it's hard to, you're really nitpicking being like, but you do got to hit those. SEC ball, you only get a couple chances per game. And it's like you said, it's the difference between winning and losing, hitting those deep shots.
Oh, it changes the whole momentum of the game. You hit a couple of those deep balls. That's, anytime you have a big play like that, whether it be on offense or special teams or, getting a pick, it changes the whole momentum of the game. And, I think if we were fortunate enough to hit one of those or two of those, I think that would have changed the momentum a lot.
Yeah. Now, who appeared or who was, I guess, Spencer Rattler's favorite target on Saturday, Antoine Wells. Just talked about what you saw from his game. 8 catches, 189 yards, I think, a touchdown. He looked to be as good as advertised on Saturday.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. He's a big target, man. The guy can get open. He creates that separation. He's good.
Oh, did we lose Steven there for a second?
That just happened.
Steven, I want to ask you this too, because a lot of fans felt like we maybe abandoned the run a little bit too early. And I thought the game plan you obviously saw, they lost Catalan, Slusher going in the game. Shane Beamer confirmed it post game. The plan was to attack the secondary, go down the field, stretch the field. Did you feel like that? Maybe they abandoned the run game a little bit earlier. Just overall thoughts on the scheme and their game plan to attack.
No, I think you're 100% right. Anytime that you're kind of playing catch-up mode throughout the entire game, and you're not running the ball as much as you want to originally, I think that definitely changed your whole outcome. But yeah, as Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a game plan until you get punched in the face. So unfortunately, Arkansas was just running down our freaking necks. So it was it was tough to watch, man. But that they're a good team. That's again, we're not playing some slapdick operation. I mean, Arkansas is a good damn team, and those are big. There's some big guys back there in that backfield.
Yeah, big physical football team. You look at KJ Jefferson. Obviously, he embodies that, right? 6'4", 240. He looked like Cam Newton Jr. to me. I mean, that's when I watched him. That's what it came off as. But, I mean, again, like you mentioned, big physical in the line of scrimmage, and that's why we thought the matchup was going to be tough for South Carolina. And, again, everybody wants to talk offense. It's so much fun to talk OC and quarterback play and the run game, whatever. And I totally understand. I still don't think the offense played perfectly. I mean, I left this game, no moral victories, obviously, but encouraged by the offensive performance. But, man, when you give up 295 yards rushing on the ground, it's just hard. You know what I mean? It's just, and you get the game to 24-16, right? You get it 24-16. Literally the next drive, they bust off a 70-yard run. I mean, it's just at some point you got to get a stop. You got to get a stop.
Yeah, 100%. If you're able to run wild like they were, I mean, it's tough to beat anybody when they can do that. So, yeah, they got to shore that up, that defensive lineup. I mean, that's bottom line. They just got to get that done.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, it gets no easier against the Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, I would ask you this, from the defensive side, was there anything you saw Arkansas was doing, or is it just as simple as they're just really big and really physical, and it just felt like they were just pushing us around? I mean, to be totally honest with you.
No, 100%. Yeah, they. I mean, like you said, they are big physical guys up there, and I mean, that's the Arkansas that I remember playing. I mean, just a big ass offensive line, big ass defensive line, big linebackers. I mean, that's the old Arkansas. So I think Coach Pittman's got those guys kind of rolling right now. But yeah, this Georgia game is going to be tough. I'm actually right before I jumped on here, I'm booking my flight, so flying up there on Thursday.
Hey,
going to be at the game.
I'm pumped. Here we go. Steven Garcia, the Roach King in town.
Yep.
Breaking news.
Invading Columbia.
The Roach King is invading Cola once again. Love to hear that. Steven, something I was definitely excited to ask you about, by the way, here on this Monday, because one thing I've seen since Saturday is identity, offensive identity. And like, what is the DNA of the football team? And I understand fans' frustration, right? I understand it because I feel the same way. Ever since I feel like Steve Spurrier has left, we have struggled to kind of find our identity. Like you mentioned Arkansas, their DNA, big physical, run the football, right?
Yep.
Kentucky has a DNA. Georgia has a DNA. Like when you play them, you know what you're going to get. Now, that doesn't mean they don't make adjustments and adjust the game plan based on the opponent, but you sort of know what they're all about. Do you feel like Carolina's struggling to find its identity, to find its DNA? Like, do you have an opinion on what it should be? Because, like, again, that's, I think, a lot of what frustrates fans is we just don't have one. Like you don't know on a week in, week out basis. And I understand, you got a lot of moving pieces. You got a new quarterback. You got an offensive line you're trying to work with. You got new receivers. I get that, but it's hard for fans to live with, like, on a week in, week out basis. I don't really know what we do well. I know what we do poorly, but I don't really know what we do well. I don't even know what we want to do. You know what I mean? Like, how important do you think it is to find that identity? It's like, this is who we are.
Yeah, no, I'm as lost as anybody else. I think maybe he's trying to get, Coach Beamer's trying to get like that Lincoln Riley and the Oklahoma style type, sling and shoot type deal. I don't know. It is kind of confusing as a fan. But shit, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you on that, but I do know that Arkansas, Georgia, Alabama, they have identities, as you're saying. We got to figure out what the hell we want to do and just stick to it and get it going.
What did you feel like you guys' identity was when you were at South Carolina? Or did you feel like, because Steve Spurrier's game obviously evolved from, the fun and gun to, you guys were about run game, defense. Of course, you threw the football around, but, it was a lot of run game and defense, I feel like, when you were there.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's the kind of guys we recruited. That's the kind of offensive scheme Coach Spurrier wanted to do, and thought it would be successful. And obviously, it was. Maybe Coach Beamer. It's year two, so he's got a little bit of time to kind of figure that out. But I think the sooner the better. So we actually kind of move forward and figure out what the hell we're doing.
Yeah, Steven, again, no moral victories, but encouraging signs you saw from Saturday. Because what's so weird, of course, again, we talked a week ago to the date. And I guess it's just because of expectations and feelings going into a game. Because, I went into Arkansas I picked this as a loss in the preseason, didn't love the matchup. And so the game sort of played out how I thought it would, just maybe a little bit higher scoring. It's weird. I feel no moral victories, but I think I felt more encouraged leaving a 14-point loss against Arkansas than I did leaving a 21-point win against Georgia State, just because of how it happened and seeing offensive success, I guess, like seeing Spencer Rattler have some success. So again, no more victories. We're not throwing a freaking parade because you lost by 2 touchdowns on the road to Arkansas, but positives that you were able to take away from this football game moving forward and things you think this football team can build off of.
I think the offense, as you mentioned, played a lot better, a hell of a lot better than they did against, Georgia State. That being said, I mean, you just can't allow guys to run wild like they did. But at the same time, I think it was encouraging for Rattler to have some success, as you mentioned. But I mean, Cincinnati kind of threw the ball over Arkansas as well in week 1. So I mean, their secondary is actually top tier. But yeah, I think moving forward, I think he stayed in the pocket a little bit longer. I kept his eyes downfield a little bit longer than maybe week 1 against Georgia State. So I don't know. I think that I hate giving moral victories because I don't believe in them.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely think that the offense played a lot better.
Right. Yeah. So now you move forward to this game against Georgia, and I feel like Georgia is just more of what Arkansas was, right? And I guess I won't even say there's mystery because they're the number 1 team in the country and the defending national champions. They've played Oregon, beat them 49-3, dismantled them. Played Samford, beat them 33-0. I'd also point out, by the way, to Gamecock fans, I don't know if you even knew this, Stephen. I had somebody tell me though Georgia played on a running clock in the 4th quarter. Kirby and the Samford head coach agreed going in the 4th quarter, hey, let's just keep a running clock. The 4th quarter was over in like 20 minutes, they said. Just running clock, just nonstop. Yeah, I didn't know you could do that. I really did.
I thought that was Little League in high school. I didn't know you could do that.
Apparently, they played on a running clock. Kirby and the Samford head coach I don't know. They're buddies. I don't know. I wouldn't do that either. But
No.
Either way, we'll first start with this. Your experiences against the Georgia Bulldogs. Obviously, you beat these guys. You went into Athens. That 2009 game was an incredible football game. 2010, obviously, the tough, 17-6, I think, game. Of course, we all recall that was the Marcus Lattimore, his coming out party. He broke 70,000 tackles in that football game. 2011, you beat them on the road in Athens. Just talk about, again, your experiences playing Georgia. I mean, 2008, I think you might have came in that game. That was and I love my guy Mike Davis, the OG Mike Davis, but the fumble in the end zone, what did we lose, 13-7 or something like that? And just they were the number 1 team in the country. They were actually number 1 at that time also. Matt Stafford, Noshawn, and all those guys. And, of course, I don't know if you traveled, but you were on that team in 2007 when we beat them in Sanford as well. But either way, again, bottom line, just talk about your experiences against Georgia. Obviously, South Carolina, Georgia means a lot. A lot of Georgia guys on the roster, and it's always a big game for sure.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, Georgia's they like to think of themselves as the bigger brother to us. So, anytime you get a chance to play against them, and it's always a blast. I don't know if we're gonna have a blast playing against them this year. Them boys are freaking playing right now. And what I hate more than anything is how much disrespect Stetson Bennett gets. I mean, how he's not in the list for a Heisman is beyond me. But then you got guys like Anthony Richardson and KJ Jefferson that are, getting all this praise and stuff. It's like, I don't get it. But yeah, he's Georgia's got it. I mean, they're a hell of a team right now. I don't know what the spread's going to be this week, but I hope that we can show some damn pride, at least on.
My friend, I'm surprised you haven't seen Georgia opened as a 26-point favorite. That number has dropped, but it's 24.5. So hammer the Cox.
I don't know, man. That might have written all over it. I might have to tease that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's it's a big spread for sure, but it is what it is. Like you mentioned, Georgia's just on another planet. Sticking with your playing day, Stephen, favorite memories against Georgia, favorite game, and obviously again you beat them twice. 2009 was a fun one. Anything that sticks out though, just any fun stories or because I mean again I know like you mentioned Coach Spurrier, the Florida week was when he'd get real amped, but I mean he obviously loved beating Georgia.
Oh, he loved it. I mean, really, all the games were freaking awesome. The one that I did travel my redshirt year in 2007 when we did beat Georgia and Blake Mitchell threw the ball all over the freaking yard. But I mean, I remember seeing Stafford do a play action, and I want to say he threw the ball like 75 or 80 yards in the air and just absolutely uncorked the ball. But I don't think there was anybody within like 15 yards. So it doesn't matter. But I mean, that's like really like the only cool memory that I can like vividly see. Just like, holy shit, this guy can absolutely freaking throw the hell out of the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a rocket on his right shoulder. I thought you were going to mention. I remember the play action that he did where Georgia, they love to do that play action, the running back fake hand off the receiver, and he just kind of stands there for a second.
Yep.
And Eric Norwood just laid his ass out.
Yeah,
just laid him out. So
that's yep.
Yeah, that was a fun night, man. Corey Boyd, Jasper Brinkley, that entire crew. That was a fun one for sure. Again, you look at this game, and I don't know, Steven, I'll be honest, I haven't, I didn't watch a bunch of Georgia's first game, and obviously I didn't watch them play the mighty Samford Bulldogs, but they lost a lot defensively. So, again, I don't really know how good Oregon is, right? A lot of this game is like, how good is Oregon really? Bo Nix, their quarterback, they go on the road. They got a lot of new pieces defensively. Granted, they reloaded with a bunch of five-star guys and guys, basically the next crop of draft picks. That's pretty much who they reloaded with. If you're the Gamecocks, I mean, again, it's not an easy question to answer, but how would you attack Georgia offensively? Do you think they should stick with the spread, trying to throw it all over the place? You've struggled to run the ball. Georgia's got an elite defensive front. I mean, it's not an easy situation for Satterfield and that offensive staff this week.
Yeah, no, I think you got to spread them out and just try to pitch and catch it all over the place. Because as you mentioned, like our run game, it's kind of non-existent. We're not really running the ball. We're not really even trying to run the ball right now either. So I think we just got to stick with it and spread them out and just try to pitch and catch and try to keep the ball in our hands as long as freaking possible. Long sustained drives, keep their offense off the field. And I mean, that's what you're gonna have to do to beat this team. You can't turn the ball over. I mean, I remember watching that Oregon game and Bo Nix, everybody's like, oh, this is the standard Bo Nix throwing picks. I think he's a pretty good player, but anytime you turn the ball and give them extra possessions, I mean, it's a tough mountain to climb there.
And then defensively, I want to start with the Stetson Bennett thing. Does it make you cringe when you hear people talk about quarterbacks as game managers? Like when you hear that, what do you think?
I think of Kerry Collins. You remember him from the Giants?
Oh, yes. Okay.
I remember that was like the first person that I ever heard be called a game manager. And I was like, what the hell does that even mean? Like the guy's in the NFL, he's a game manager in the NFL. Like, what are you talking about? When I think of that, I think of people like, just kind of just hand the ball off, comfortable with the ball. They're not slinging it around. They're just kind of very, nickel and diming it. And so Stetson Bennett is not a game manager. I mean, I saw him make some throws that are like, holy shit, that's a big time throw right there. Some of the plays that he made against Oregon when he's scrambling and puts the ball in his left hand and resets quick and then throws it to that guy wide ass open in the left side of the end zone. I mean, the guy's making plays. So I hate when people refer to him as a game manager. I think that term sucks anyway.
Anybody ever refer to you as a game manager?
Not that I know of. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
No, I doubt it. I mean, I certainly wouldn't label you that, but I
was about to say, you play, kind of tight like that. I kind of just let it go, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to label your game. I don't think game manager fits very well.
No.
You don't practice and run drills like I think a game manager would. If I had, I think you and Greg McElroy probably have a different set of drills. Let's put it that way. Yeah, no offense to Greg, by the way, but he was referred to as a manager. Pulling a massive upset like this, I don't recall, Steven, if you guys played many games where the spread was 26 or 27 or what have you. Not sure if y'all played many games like that, but when you look at a ball game like this, keys to success, keys to victory, anything specifically you think would have to happen to pull off a major upset?
I think we got to do kind of what we did to Georgia State, maybe get a punt block for a touchdown or, have a big special teams play. We got to stop the run. If we don't stop the run, I don't think we stand any chance in hell anyway. So we got to be able to stop the run. And I think we got to keep, like I was saying, we got to keep the ball in our hands and keep our offense on the field, try to limit their possession. I think that's definitely going to be big. But I think to kind of pull off an upset like this, I think you're going to need a special teams turnover or, maybe a pick six or, something like that. I mean, that's just what it is. I remember when we beat Alabama and they were number one, I remember we stopped them on a fourth. They tried to run a fake punt or something or fake field goal. And we have stopping. I mean, those are big plays. That's what you got to do to upset these guys.
Yeah, I was going to say this too, Steven, that the first couple of years for Steve Spurrier and not trying to necessarily draw comparisons between Shane Beamer's first couple and Spurrier's first couple, but What I always noticed, what I felt like Spurrier and those guys did such a good job. And again, blowouts happen. I remember the first year, 05, we went to Auburn, lost like 48-7, had to call 2 timeouts to open the game. You're like, well, this is going to go downhill really quickly. The Antonio Hefner game. But you guys did a really good job, I feel like, or Coach Spurrier or whatever, in games. And again, I'm not sure the spreads were ever this crazy, but just of competing in every game. Like it didn't feel like we were getting blown out a ton. Like I know it happened. I mean, I remember specifically couple times when we played Tim Tebow. It did not go very well. What was the, as a former player, when you came into a game and you were a huge underdog, obviously you try not to pay attention to like bet, like you don't care about what a spread is, but when you're a major dog and you're getting picked against, and I would assume the preparation doesn't change at all, but like the mindset, I guess, is there more of a chip on your shoulder? And I just say that because I feel like those teams, you guys did a really good job of it. It just always felt like it was a competitive game. There were not a lot of blowouts. And I think that's the biggest difference between year 2 and year 1 of Beamer. What I most wanted to see was, losing to Georgia, nobody's going to write you off because of that. But it's like, it's how it goes. Like, do you make it a fourth quarter game? Is it competitive? Is the game over at halftime? You know what I mean? Right. There's a difference in fighting your tails off and, hey, Georgia just beat you, and Georgia covering a 24.5 point spread. I mean, was there anything specifically you point to that you guys were able to do to be competitive against the elites at that time, if you will?
I don't think we changed any of our outlook, or if we played with more of a chip on our shoulder. I don't feel like we did that as a team. I feel that we were a very confident team in any year that I was there. We always thought we were going to win. We thought we were going to go undefeated. I mean, that's just we had that kind of mentality that we're not going to lose any games. We're gonna beat some team's ass. But I do remember getting our asses handed to us against Tebow and the Gators. I think it was like 56-6. That's when me and Smelly were going back and forth every single play. And that was brutal. But it's actually funny. We always were, at least the quarterbacks were, we were always made aware of what the spread was, because Coach Spurrier would tell us every single pregame meal. He's like, shit, yeah, they got us favored by 11.5 points. And we're like,
Spurrier would tell y'all what the spread was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you think he did that?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. And I remember there was a game I think that we played. This was after I got dismissed from the team, but it was I think against Mississippi State, and I think we were favored, or there was some sort of controversy to where I think Connor ran out and like took a safety so that they covered the spread like at the last play of the game. And I remember talking to my buddy Cliff, and he's like, "Yeah, man, everybody thinks that Coach Spurrier gambled on the game because like there's no reason he had to take that safety." So I was like, man, he did mention the spreads every single morning at pregame meal.
God, dude, conspiracy theory. Spurrier was out here gambling on the games. Jesus Christ. I love that. That is so funny, because I would just think to myself, like, there's no way coaches or players are paying attention. So to think Steve Spurrier's like, yep, 15-point underdog today. What are we going to do about it? God. Wild.
That point, I had no idea what the hell. I didn't even know like gambling was a thing. I mean, I honestly I guess my head was stuck in the sand, but yeah, he told us that, and I was like, what the hell does that even mean?
Yeah. You probably had the same meeting though, right? With like they tell you like, all right, NCAA rules, you can't play fantasy sports, can't play fantasy football. I remember sitting in those and just like, all right, bro. What?
Yeah. Now all of a sudden these guys are getting paid millions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No, now they're getting paid to be endorsed by FanDuel or whatever, DraftKings, whatever it is. Steven, always a pleasure. I'll ask you this before I get you out of here again, just kind of on a side note, college football note. I just got to ask your thoughts on the weekend that was in college football, man. What a week. How about the Sun Belt? Georgia Southern beats Nebraska. Marshall beats Notre Dame. What's the other one? Freaking App State beats A&M. I mean, thoughts on the college football weekend? What a weekend it was.
Unbelievable. I actually so when I used to go up to Greenville to train quarterbacks and do the camps up there, I actually started working with Chase Bryce. So that had to be 8 or 10 years ago. I mean, it was a long time ago. Anyways, I kept in contact with him and actually talked to him after the game, and he said that flight home was pretty fun.
I would imagine so. It's incredible, dude. Insane.
Yeah.
Wild. Steven, always a pleasure, my guy. Thank you so much for taking the time. And like I said, hope for the best against the Dogs, and obviously safe travels to you. It'll be great to have you in town. And obviously I'll text you after this and we'll link up and figure something out. But it's always a pleasure when
man,
Coach King makes his presence
Let's
felt.
figure out that little tailgate plan that we were doing.
Dude, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, I'll text you after this, and we'll
Okay.
get it worked out and everything. But Roach King, appreciate you, my man. It's always a pleasure.
All right, boss. We'll see you.
Yeah, man. See you. Roach King out.